Welcome back. All right, so as you can see here, got a little board here. I got this from Amazon like a month ago, and I was like, yeah, I could probably find reasons to use that in videos, and here we are. So I was talking in, a video I did recently on trends I've noticed in the NHL. I was talking about glitch goals, and I wanted to go over some of the goals we see more often than not, because there are some who think the goaltending has dropped off in its efficiency in the National Hockey League. I think teams are just getting better at figuring out how to create goals. And I think that it's a pendulum we see swing back and forth at the National Hockey League level. The offense comes up with a new setup, a new scenario where they can get more goals, and then it's up to the defense to adjust, the goaltending to adjust. The Michigan being an example. The Michigan fails, I think, more often than it succeeds. The trick with the Michigan is the ability to pick up the puck and do that with the stick, and do that before the defender comes in and says, you're not doing that. It's not that easy. So the number one that I see, at least I think it's the one I see most often, is tipped and screened. So one thing about the National Hockey League now is you didn't used to be able to stand there. Basically, if you're the offending player or the offensive player and you're standing there in front of the net, some big guy named Mike Rathje is going to clear you out with a cross check in the back that's going to send your spine up into about row 5. And so guys didn't stand there. Now with the NHL cracking down on everything, now players can stand there. So if you're at the point, and I gotta say that players today are gutsy, because they will fire this puck directly at the net while two of their own guys are standing in front of the net. And sometimes you drill your own player with the puck, but it means that for the goaltender who's back here, all he can see is players. He can't see the puck. And when that puck's going at 80 miles an hour from the point, goalie's not going to save it. Goalie didn't even see it. That's why very often you'll hear the announcer say the goalie still hasn't seen that puck. He has no idea where it is. So very often it's a deflection. But the other thing I've noticed is you'll get so these are like two offending players, and then you'll have defensemen that are trying to check them. Well, now you got four guys in front of the net, and now the goalie can't see a thing. So because the defenseman can't clear the front of the net like they used to be allowed to do, and I'm not using this marker because I don't like it as much, but it's got an eraser on it, so I'll use the eraser. It's not weird. But yeah, so that's something that happens a lot. And I don't know how goalies are expected to save those. Like, honestly. So there's times I'll see a goaltender save 17 out of 21, and then I look at the goals and I'm like, I don't know how you're supposed to save those 4 shots. Now, on a pass from behind the net, this is the old Gretzky play. So this right here, that's Gretzky's office. That was known as Gretzky's office when he played. You know what, I'll just use my finger. It's fine. Now, what I've noticed is that guys either standing on either side of the net, you get a guy in the slot, it's simple, right? So you just pass it to him, and it's a wrister into the net. The goaltender has to watch the player behind the net, because if he doesn't, and if he cheats and kind of, tries to watch the guy at the point, he can get drawn off the post, and then it's a wraparound. For the guy who's here, then all he has to do is say, hey, the goalie, I've got him off the post. He's cheating, and then you get the goal, and then we as fans go, that goalie sucks. Did you see that? He caught him off the post. When in reality, the goaltender has multiple things he has to worry about. The reality is, the guy who's in the slot, a defending player, needs to take care of that player and make sure that he's not open and able to get that puck in the net. But that's another one of those easier said than done. It's easier for us as fans to go, he should have been in there and able to stop that. So that's another one that I've noticed is becoming, it seems more common now, is the pass from behind the net. So Gretzky's got to be proud of that, because that was his bread and butter. Gary Curry parks himself in front of the net. Gretzky's behind the net, out front, in the net, done. Cross crease and in, or cross ice and in. So it's, again, this is very basic and very simple. Sometimes the player, it's this, and this is where back in the old days, back in the early 2000s, late 90s, you can't be here, because there's a defenseman, I don't know, let's just say Mike Rathje, who might be drilling you in the back and putting you right out of the front of the net. So, since you like your spine, you're probably not going to stand there. Well, now players can, because of the way that the game is called now, and you can't get away with some of those hits in front of the net. So now you've got the cross seam pass. So that's your cross seam pass, as they call it on TV. And now when it's this is where it gets kind of. And when I'm writing the notes for the games, like it's so simple. Like, to me, this is cross crease, and to me that's cross ice. So when I'm writing down the notes, and if I say cross crease pass, it's right at the front of the net. If it's a cross ice pass, it's usually still below the hash marks. And so the goaltender, almost no chance to react. he has to watch the shooter on this side, right? You have to respect the shooter, meaning the guy on this side who's going to receive the puck has the opportunity to bury that puck before the goaltender comes over and gets ready. And that's why you shoot high, too, because the goaltenders, the way that they fill up the net, that top corner is all you have. So I have nothing but respect for shooters in the NHL right now because, yeah, that the goaltenders are all like 6'5" and taller, except for a couple, and announcers will tell you every time Dustin Wolf plays and every time UC Saros plays, they're a little bit short for goaltenders, but you've got to shoot high, right? Roofed from the doorstep. So I use this a lot in notes, and it is exactly what it sounds like it is, which is you got a player right here, right on the doorstep. We've also called those garbage goals, but I've stopped using the term garbage goals because people get upset. There's been times where I'll talk about a player and be like, yeah, he gets a lot of garbage goals, and they're like, they're not garbage, they're goals just like all the rest. I'm not saying the goal is garbage. I'm not saying the player's garbage. But anyway, so now I say they roof it from the doorstep because that sounds better than it's a garbage goal. Although technically the garbage goal was usually just put that in. If you look at the game yesterday, the Detroit game, Patrick Kane had a goal right from beside the net. That's what we would term a garbage goal. If you watch that on TV and you go, I think I could have scored that if I was on the ice there. That's a garbage goal. And so, yeah, roof from the doorstep. And I'll also use the term tip in or tapped in from the doorstep or from the side of the net because garbage goal makes people upset. So, but there's a lot of them that get roofed from the doorstep. And again, if you're a goaltender, your job is to defend, block that bottom of the net, make him hit the corners. But shooters now are so precise and they're so good at getting those shots in the top corner. They can do that. And again, we as the fans look and go, well, he should have had that. Yeah, because we would have had it. Sure. Why not? Sometime I should put on like goalie equipment and go out on the ice with like just some AHL or ECHL guy and show you. Nah. Anyways, no, we're not going to be doing that. I'm just kidding. Now, the one that I've noticed, and I've noticed this more and more. So I'll put the players down here in each corner, right? So, and this is really smart. And this is kind of like playing billiards, pool, snooker too, right? So the idea of you've got a defender in front of the net and obviously the goaltender in their crease. And you look for a way to bank it in off the goaltender. And this is becoming more and more common because it works. The goaltenders shouldn't be right in their net, obviously. You don't want to be right in your net. So there's going to be that opportunity. Especially it seems like they're aiming for the shoulder or for the back of the leg. So goaltenders out a little bit. You aim for the back of the leg. Off the goalie, into the net, easy peasy. Or you've got the defenseman in front of the net, and if he's caught up with one of your players, all right, well, we'll just feed it out. And either it gets through to my player, or I'm banking it in off the defenseman. It happens way too often for it to be coincidental. It's happening a lot now. And if we're going to, again, show a little bit of pity to the goaltenders, that has to be awful. I'm watching a guy behind the net who's got the puck, and then he banks it in off my own guy in front of the net who wasn't even facing the play. So that's tough. Or, he was facing the play, but he still got to keep his eye on the guy over his shoulder in front of the net. This one's simple, buried on a rush. Usually the rush goals are usually from right near the hash marks. So usually right in either of the circles. Sometimes it's down the middle, but what I've noticed with a lot of the goals now, it's from here. And these are like 95 mile an hour shots, 85 mile an hour shots. And we as fans go, you probably should have had that. I don't know. 85 miles an hour from there, it's not much space. It's not. There's really not much room. One thing that is always interesting with ice rinks, anytime I'm out and skating around an ice rink, on some level it seems a bit bigger, and yet B, everything's right there. Everything's right in front of you. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's kind of both. It's like the TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside. Nah, it doesn't work. But buried on a rush stands on its own. Now, the tic-tac-toe play is simple, and I can't really draw that on the board. Tic-tac-toe play is a matter of getting yourself open, your teammates get open, and it's, over, and in. Up, down, in. And it is, again, designed to pull the goaltender out of position and make it so that you've got an empty net, an open net staring at you. The only tricky part is, one thing I've also noticed with players lately is that sometimes they freeze up. They've got that open net, And you can tell they kind of panic, like, I got to get that in the net now because the goalie's going to come over. And then they miss it. And then we as fans say, well, he should have had that. That bum. He missed that shot. It is not easy. So, yeah, I wanted to bust this out today and talk about that. So, there you go. But, yeah, those are the ones that come to mind that are really, really common. And I think that these style of plays and the way that offense is being coached right now is making the game a lot of fun to watch. It makes it fast. But I do kind of feel bad for the goalies at times. Not all the time. Not all the time. There are some very good goaltenders that are able to overcome a lot of these. But let me know which goal you think you're seeing a lot of that is not on the board. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I just thought this was a fun topic to follow up on from the 10 trends that I've noticed. Goals that I've noticed are happening a lot in the NHL. So let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.